Grandpa is one of the most important characters in the Texas Chain Saw Massacre game, and he is so much deeper of a character than meets the eye. It's pretty crazy all the things that I learned while making this guide, and I'm excited to share that information with you all. Today, we're going to cover everything there is to know about Grandpa so that you know how to most effectively utilize him and also so you know how to take him down. This video has been divided into timestamps so you can skip over any information you may already know. Please note, there are a lot of complexities to his mechanics, especially in terms of shadows, abilities, and wake-up mechanics, so it may be worth viewing portions of the video you already have prior knowledge on. Additionally, come say hey on a Twitch live stream. We're always doing tons of fun Texas Chain Saw Massacre things over there, and I would love to hear your thoughts via a live commentary. Link in the description. If you have any other guides or videos you'd like to see in the future, leave them down in the comments. And lastly, if you're looking for a new place to hang out or find some TCM teammates, I've left our community Discord link below. But without further ado, let's get down to business. So let's start with the basics. Feeding Grandpa. In order to level Grandpa up, you need to feed him blood. Blood can be gathered by either stopping at buckets or attacking and killing victims. In order to feed Grandpa, simply stand beside him and press the prompted key on screen. Grandpa has a few spawn locations on each map, but he's always in the central area of a given map. And remember that you can always find where Grandpa is located by using the Family Focus ability. Grandpa needs 100 blood points in order to reach each level, and with each respective level, Grandpa gains new buffs. We'll get into Grandpa's levels in just a little bit here, but first, let's cover the ways in which Grandpa can be woken up. There are probably some matches in which you receive the notification that Grandpa has been woken up, but you're left puzzled exactly on why this has happened. Grandpa can be woken up from a multitude of things, and this is a bit more complicated than meets the eye. The first and most common way Grandpa can be awoken is from a survivor opening a blue basement exit door. No matter what you do, Grandpa will always wake up once one of these doors has been opened. It should be noted that victims can unlock as many basement exit doors as they would like without Grandpa waking up, but the second you open one up, he'll be roaring away. The second way Grandpa can be woken up is pretty plain and simple, and this is done by Leatherface executing a victim in the basement area. Once Leatherface finishes his first execution, Grandpa will be woken up. The third way Grandpa can be woken up is via the family members upstairs. If the two family members upstairs are able to gather enough blood to get Grandpa to level 1, he will then wake up without any sort of basement interaction. The last and most complicated way Grandpa can be woken up is via victim loud actions within the basement. Doing things such as collecting bone scrap, tools, or completing other actions loudly will cause Grandpa to wake up. This is by far the most complicated mechanic when it comes to waking Grandpa up, and even with extensive hours of testing and rerunning victim games, I cannot provide concrete facts on how this mechanic exactly functions. I also haven't been able to find any concrete evidence online that confirms any of my suspicions. If you have any theories or ideas on the threshold of this mechanic, I would love to hear what you have to say down below. My best guess is that it's close to 5 loud actions that will wake Grandpa up, even if that means breaking the loudness threshold on a single action 5 times. Again, this is by far the most confusing when it comes to the processes in which Grandpa wakes up, but essentially just know that making lots of noise will cause him to awake. Next up, let's cover what leveling up Grandpa does. When Grandpa is first woken up, he will roar, detecting any victims that move aside from those in shadows. Grandpa will not periodically howl until reaching level 1. If you're still confused about the in shadows mechanic, don't worry, we're going to cover that here in just a minute. You'll also notice that there are extra abilities or perks tied to Grandpa based on his current level, but we'll cover that once we reach the extra ability section. His only other ability at this level is alerting family members of victims that have come within very close proximity of him, which persists throughout all other levels. This will just let the family know that Grandpa is in danger and reveal the victim's aura to the family. At level 1, Grandpa's periodic victim detection becomes active. Any victim who makes movements will have their auras revealed to all family members. This only applies during movement, so if you stop after you've been detected, your aura will once again be hidden. Grandpa's victim detection does not apply to victims in shadows, and again, if you aren't sure what that means, don't worry. We'll be grabbing that in just a second. At level 2, Grandpa's power increases, causing the detection cooldown to be reduced. The power still functions the same as it did in level 1, just with a cooldown reduction. At level 3, Grandpa's power increases once more, causing the detection cooldown to be reduced even more. This is essentially still just a cooldown buff from the earlier levels. At level 4, Grandpa's power increases once again, but this time detection in shadows becomes active. So you might be wondering what shadows are and what they have to do with Grandpa. Shadows are a mechanic in TCM that help players to stay hidden both visually, but also in terms of sonar. There are sort of two types of shadows when you really break it down. The first way to go into shadows is by entering extremely dark areas of the map where lights can be turned on and off. You'll know you're, quote, in shadows when your character model gets this gray tint over it, making your character appear darker. It's very subtle, but if you look closely, you'll see this change. Once you're in shadows, you can actually move around while Grandpa is using his sonar ability and not have your aura revealed to any family members. If you leave shadows while Grandpa is detecting victims, you will then become detected. This mechanic changes once Grandpa has hit level 4, meaning he can detect you in the shadows if you move during his howl. The second way you can enter shadows is by hiding in the tall foliage. This causes you to gain the shadows effect, and you can once again move during Grandpa's howl without being detected until level 4. This is a great way to continue making progress at the match or to move away from family members even while Grandpa's sonar ability is active. At level 5, Grandpa's power has hit its maximum. No matter what victims do, they will have nowhere to hide and no way to avoid being seen by the family when Grandpa's ability becomes active. As a victim, it can be worth thinking about immobilizing Grandpa as he reaches higher levels in order to buy you and your team more time in the match, and it can even be effective in the early game if done correctly. With that being said, let's dive into how we can render Grandpa less effective. Victims are able to collect bone scrap, and this bone scrap can be used to immobilize Grandpa. Immobilizing Grandpa sends him back to previous levels and deactivates any current family member abilities that are tied to Grandpa. Family members are not able to feed Grandpa while he is immobilized, and additionally, victims cannot attack him again while immobilized. There's no way to kill Grandpa even if you attack him at level 0, it will simply just immobilize him once again. When you immobilize Grandpa, the effect will last for 35 seconds before Grandpa becomes active again. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the extra abilities or perks that can be used with Grandpa. Each family member is able to pack an extra ability aside from their traditional 3 perks. You can unlock these additional abilities in each family member's respective skill tree and can easily be spotted by looking for a diamond-shaped ability. As far as we're aware from testing, these perks are not able to stack, so it's important that everyone brings a unique Grandpa ability. Grandpa abilities are activated during the match by leveling Grandpa up, and they become available at levels 1, 2, and 3. Each Grandpa level gained in the match will unlock a different family member's ability that they brought along for that match. Abilities are assigned completely randomly at levels 1, 2, and 3, but you can see which abilities will be activated first as they work their way from right to left. One very important note that I cannot stress enough is that if you skip over a level when feeding Grandpa, the respective ability for that level will not be activated. I'm going to break this down visually so you can understand what I mean, but if there's anything you take away from this video, it should be the information I'm about to give you. In this clip here, Grandpa's level jumped from 1 to 3. This was possible as a family member was able to feed Grandpa enough blood to completely surpass level 2. Because we jumped over level 2, our level 2 ability never activated during this match. So there is legitimately a reason to pace yourself when feeding Grandpa during these early 3 levels. Skipping over an ability, especially a strong one, could hurt the team, so be aware of this tip. If you've learned anything thus far from the guide, feel free to share it with a friend as it helps me keep making these videos, and I really appreciate it. But let's quickly run through each Grandpa ability so you know what's available. I'll be throwing a star alongside the Grandpa abilities that I think are especially useful. Here are all of the abilities in alphabetical order. Always in sync. When active, the family focus ability duration is increased and the cooldown is reduced. Animal Farm. Increases chicken detection radius. Barge to the point. Barging doors always opens them on the first try. Brute Strength. Slightly increases melee damage for all family members. Don't have all day. Stamina drain while sprinting is decreased by 20%. Excited Grandpa. Delay between Grandpa's sonar ability is reduced by 20% at each level. Experienced Stalkers. Reduces the family's proximity warning range for victims. Exterior Alarms. When active, all critical doors and gates are highlighted for 5 seconds if opened. Nobody escapes hell. The minigame for locked doors is 40% more difficult for all victims. Suffocating Grip. Close encounter minigame is easier by 20% for the perk holder. Swinging for the fences reduces stamina consumption on melee attacks by 20%. Well-fed youngins. Whenever Grandpa Sonar is activated, all family members instantly regain 50 stamina. Well. Victims that jump down wells take 50% more damage. Windoom. Victims take 50% more damage when jumping out of windows. That is our complete guide on Grandpa for today, and if you have any lingering questions or comments, I would be happy to address them down in the comment section below. Let me know if you learned anything new, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any of our upcoming TCM content. Leave a like if you enjoyed this guide, as it helps me to continue making these videos, and thank you all so much. I will catch you in the next one.